Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and we're gonna do the weekly clear view. It is coming in for the next like 2 weeks, and when I say that, I hear it go right into my mouth, right from the energy. It's coming in from the next 2 weeks. I couldn't even believe it. It was right there across my eyes with energy. So, with that being said, it formed a V formation and flew out. So I want to say that is your clue, at least for the area, to actually truly be great. So I see vitamin B, I see Trulies, I see the flu, I see geese formation, I see a V formation, I see a lot of things going on, but I don't see a Sue. I don't see a lawsuit. I don't see anything come through. So when I see this as far as the community matters, they just don't understand why there's something about a lawsuit. I also see a runaround Sue. I also see someone of a Susie Q. I also see something that is Sue-like, but you can't because of fees. So when I actually sit at my table and I'm doing my bills and like check register and whatsoever, I just can't even get it out enough. How impeding everything is. So when we actually look and boil down to how big government has affected to small communities, to schools, to everything. That the next 2 weeks was a hopeful come in and a smooth transition over. But it's really not. It's already starting to be rocky. Like we have an incident out in Texas where we found 14 people, individuals, deceased in a pond. Um, we see all these things pop up. We're seeing, we had 32 officers over the last 1 to 4 years, untimely deaths. We see these instances of the cartel coming and just knocking on our door and escorting us out on the basis of terms because they know all. And then they have like just the simplicity of, can you please knock on my door and present yourself and show me your badge and all of it. So when I actually see it play out, you have to say it's normal to be a little hyper vigilant on your property right now. It's a little bit normal to be crazy. It's a little bit normal to be ornery, to hyper sensitive to energy because you couldn't even believe the leave note in your face on a time for questioning if you're going to retire or not. You just do this. I see a little bit more uptick of physical advancements on things. I see a little bit more of everything. I see military reviewing orders. I see gaslighting. I see all of it. And then I see the instances where Karen Reed is in the news and she's talking about fishing. So let's talk about fishing. Fishing is something of a dig. Fishing is something of a lake effect. Fishing is something of everything known. And so fishing can also be when probation officers are doing sexual advancements towards a parolee or someone going on probation. So, with that being said, that is a racketeering game per se to cause detriment toward that person. And detriment is such a broad term that it's green and gray. And you say, why? Green and gray, when you can actually see an aura, is not always a good thing, especially opaque around them. So when I actually start reading energies as a psychic medium, being intuitive, I'm going to say no. Even my kids will, who are like calm and will act out when it's not right. they'll start showing signs days prior. Watch the animals and watch the kids and watch how it goes. So with that, in the next 2 weeks, what I saw was a crying spell, even in my hometown, over paperwork because they just couldn't get anything done. It's like the energy, no matter what threw them, the meetings about the farm equipment being taxed, to the firehouse getting solar panels, to the regular meetings of the PTO and the PPP and the PPT and the IEP, to all those abbreviations, that you sit there and you're talking as a group, where it seems like, yeah, I might have to make a decision for you, but is that in accordance of the law? I feel like a lot of people are testing each other still, if they're of clear, sound mind, if they actually watched everything play out over years, years. So when I actually go through it and I'm seeing this close to Thanksgiving, and this is around the time I'm recording this, to the beginning of December for next week, it is a push forward. It is better. It is known, but it is still a dig and a known dig to get it done. So from what I researched is that a done 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 was something that was done in the Middle East deployment on a write in and a write out, which is really heinous, but it really is a game and it can go right to high school doing these antics. Now, it all depends on the manipulation, but are we being written right? Are we written wrong? Where do we forgive? I mean, that's pretty heinous if it's in the public. I mean, it's been like this for years. Check 1978. So when we actually look through this, and I have friends saying, is this 1948 or 1978? And I said, well, it really feels like 1942, and tomorrow is 1978. But I think tomorrow is on the clock on a 1956 to, you already say it's just a game right now. Everyone is playing it out and they're finishing it out. He hasn't released that, Sean Combs. So when we go through this every day, I have to say this was the week, even for me, hard to keep up with everything in the house because it felt like all of the energy fell onto me to be the yes and the no and the yay and the nay, to be a bay, to be a lay, meaning this, even my own representative self, representing myself in a court of law if I need to, that I need to actually see this. It gets to the point where it's, I can call it out as a psychic all I want, but you have to go look for the evidence. It's called picking up the phone and communicating properly. That was the biggest deal for 2 to 4 years in many areas. It was, did you get the message? No, I didn't get the message. So when we actually see this and we have a lot of things coming through way all over the place, you can't even do a due. You can't even do due process correctly. Due process is when you actually have a group of people who are knowledgeable and not also experienced, they're new, but they are of clear sound mind, and they can say this is a continuance on after evidence review and per law, yada, yada, yada. Even officers of the law, real officers, will sit there and say, this is not due because of X, Y, and Z patterns of behavior. So that is how it is on a daily basis. Now, as far as education, we're already seeing that there's a lot of issues with the cabinet picks that President-elect has chosen, and that there's already threats of endangerment per se. But when we actually go through it, was it known And I have to say, all forms of spelling. I mean, that is me truly acting how they are in the current date and time. That's how you know I'm formidable. I can actually, it looks like a choppy mix. It is me actually tuning into them hard. Let me tell you, it was a slam. And when that happens, you have to say, Dear Lord, all of you are exhausting. Did you look at the paperwork? Are you sure? Are you positive? Go check because you have to be at least a crack addict to actually let this continue to delay. So I'll play that game, and that is how you have to be right now. You have to be stern, you have to be stoic, you have to be almost stone-like to the highest degree of resolve because the impedance was to the max. What is max? Who is max? What is the max? I can tell you in my small town, my max here would be having so much garbage on the property. It'd be so many gunshots, even if it's target practice. It'd be how many deer or wildlife or for fishing game hunted. Yes, that's the max. Yes. And then they tell the town hall. And then the town hall calls the police, not the other way around. But am I complaining? No, I'm not. It's just the way they do their process. Why? Issues. Issues since 1978. That's all. They have a way. You can't. It was it judicial? Oh, I don't know what they did. But that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. It is odd everywhere. That's why there's odd laws. Like you can't go out and walk after 6 p.m. in a certain area because it's against the law. So with that being said, that was a shutdown and also a mugshot that you couldn't even believe how well it took. No, you may not. You may not just stand there at 13 years old with your mouth open because you don't like the chicken nuggets. Spit it out in the garbage, not on the ground. You're not screaming at the top of your lungs. Get into the bedroom. You're done. That is how it's played out anywhere else. Now, with that being said, anywhere else, I mean, I feel for Texas, I feel for Massachusetts, but Florida, all the way through the Atlantic states to the Midwest, is nasty right now. And the Beltway is the causeway to be the leeway to the no way to the go to return to be it NONE over a none. I can't even spell it right now. So when we actually boil it down to simplistics, there's really something going on, and I'm scratching my brain, that I can't even believe it would be that formidable to be it known at all. So when I go through it on a daily basis and I'm eating soup and I'm sipping my Celsius, which is not against the law, contrary to belief, that I have to actually say angel number is 555. No, 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 it's 1750 hive. Beehive. 1755. That's the year. That's the year we're living in. So with that, it is pre-Revolutionary War per se, and we are going to look at the Federalist Papers probably, and we're going to take a walk down to Independence Hall because we just can't even do this anymore. And that's just for a week. We'll talk to you soon and have a good week. Happy Thanksgiving.